Good morning, all. My name is Oluwafemi Ogunle, your facility management professional. Still on our series on effective facility management, we are going to look at measure operation and maintenance performance this morning. And the first aspect of the topic we are going to look at is going to be how you determine your asset life cycle. How you determine asset life cycle. Once an asset is placed in operation, the facility manager uses asset lifecycle cost analysis and related factors to help determine whether to service, refurbish, or replace that asset on or in its entire life cycle. So, what we mean by asset life cycle is once you place an asset in use, once you commission an asset, so it is the responsibility of the facility management practitioners that will help determine whether to when to service the asset, when to refurbish, and when to replace. Usually, assets last longer if you place it rightly in its life cycle, and asset has their definite period of time. With service, replacement, and refurbish, you elongate the life cycle of that asset. So to accurately identify and track life cycle costs, the facility management professional should capture all time extended and material use to maintain that asset. For you to capture the life cycle cost, we must accurately track the the cost extended on its maintenance. And this you can do by factually support and help justify repairs versus replacement of decisions. You can provide input to evaluate and calibrate or estimate task completion time, then produces more complete and accurate information on work activities to support facility management decision. You help allocate resources properly and justify those allocation. You support a more focused approach to strategic facility plan for effective use of the facility as it accomplishes mission. So other fiscal factors and estimates that relate to life cycle costs include total cost of ownership, economy analysis, forecasting, and sampling. We in our next video, we'll be looking at the total cost of ownership. But for now, we are looking at the how you can determine the asset life cycle cost. Firstly, we have defined what is an asset life cycle. Asset life cycle is just the process in which you plan for an asset purchase, you purchase the asset, you put the asset into use, you maintain the asset, refurbish the asset become obsolescent, then you remodel the asset for a further use, or you dispose the asset. That is asset life cycle. Asset life cycle is, for those of us that are not in the profession, is a cycle that has to do with planning to get an asset. Usually, as facility managers, we advise you don't just get an asset because you want to get an asset. You purchase an asset because there's a need for it. So if there's no need for that asset, you don't purchase it. So the process of planning, that is when you know where you have a need for that asset. Once the need for the asset is generated, you go ahead to purchase the asset. That is the next phase of the asset life cycle, which is purchase. Then the next phase is use. Immediately you commission the asset, put it into use. Then the next stage is maintain. After use, during use, there should be maintenance program. That's when your planned preventive maintenance come into being. You have to plan so that by the time you maintain the asset, the life cycle will be elongated. An asset that is not well maintained or is not maintained at all, it cuts short the life of that asset. So after maintenance, you drop to refurbish. There will be a time in the life of that asset that you have to do top end overhauling. maybe after spending some years, you do your top 10 overhauling. What is top end overhauling? You change some major components in that asset. By the time you change those major components, the asset becomes new again. Then after a while, you remodel the asset for a further use, or you dispose the asset. So that is asset life cycle. Then when we now introduce cost, asset life cycle cost, which is our topic for today, how you can determine the asset life cycle cost. Each phase of the life cycle, there are costs associated with it. That is what we mean by asset life cycle cost. The planning stage, there are costs associated with it. The actual asset purchase, there are also costs associated with it. The maintenance, your preventive maintenance, there are costs, periodic costs associated with it. Your top 10 overhauling, which is your refurbishment, there are also costs, or remodeling, there are also costs associated with it. If you are disposing of the asset, there are costs associated with asset disposal. That is what we mean by asset life cycle costs. I hope we are able to gain one or two as relates to assets and as relates to facility management. Our next topic, we're going to be dealing on total cost of ownership. Total cost of ownership has to do with the financial management strategy that accounts for the complete life cycle, what we mean by cradle to grave measurement or management of a physical asset. Purchase of that asset from the cradle down to the grave, going back to where it came from. That is total cost of ownership. That will be our next topic. Thank you once again for listening to our video. My name is Oluwafemi Ogunle. Till we see in the next video. Thank you all.